Hello and welcome to the Growing Healthy Families podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Scott Haggerty. On this show, I interview the world's top health experts so that you can know with certainty what it takes to give your family a life of epic health and wellness.
As parents, we don't want to see our kids struggle. I knew that he had the potential, and I knew that something needed to be done.
It was hard. We would get frustrated. We didn't know how to deal with it. I was more emotional about it.
Sure that, we're here. Amen to that, brother. Amen to that. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Growing Healthy Families podcast. I'm Dr. Scott Haggerty, and I am super excited today because moms and dads, one of my favorite people in the world is here because he gets to go and share his passion with us. So I'm going to dive right in so we can talk all about this. So this is Bob Hershey. He is the director for the Cleveland Pregnancy Center. Bob, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Absolutely.
So I have a personal passion for your mission, and obviously we're pediatric practice, and, we so much value the work that you're doing. And so I wanted to spend some time talking about the work that you're doing with the Cleveland Pregnancy Center. So let's dive right in. First, tell us about yourself, Bob, and how you became the director in your background and how long you've been working with the Pregnancy Center.
Been with the center probably about, almost 6 years now, I guess. Mm-hmm. And basically what it was in our past, we had an unplanned pregnancy. That's how it all started. And so I was 18, unplanned pregnancy, didn't know what to do. When I'm put in a situation that I'm trying to make the decision of, do we keep the child, do we not? There's always the other decision that maybe we don't need to. And so we actually went to a doctor. He basically looked at us and said, you are two young, intelligent young people, and you guys can figure this out, and you know what to do. And how detrimental it would have been if we would have heard the other story. Mm-hmm. And so I think that's why I'm in the position I'm in now, to be able to share that story, because now I've been married 40 years, and awesome. We have 3 kids that are married, and we have 4 grandkids. And so I think that's why God's put me in the position that I'm at, and to be able to lead. So I started out at the Pregnancy Center volunteering first, and then went into volunteer coordinator position, and now the executive director. So it's amazing what God does.
Amen to that, brother. Amen to that. And it's funny because, obviously we've known each other for a number of years now, and as we've just kind of intermingled, it's amazing to see the amount of connections that you have with people in all different areas with the work that you've done and the lives that you've touched. So let's talk about the grander picture. So what is the mission of the Pregnancy Center?
So the technical mission, is that we provide biblical, life-affirming resources and services to those affected by unplanned pregnancy. Something that I just ran into in the last month and a half ago was we are helping to eliminate the crisis, not the child. Because basically they're always coming in saying, you know what, I can't afford it, I'm in school, I'm in a bad relationship, those kind of things. And so if you eliminate the crisis, they're going to have the child. Mm-hmm. And so that's really what we're about, is to eliminate the crisis.
And that's honestly, if you hear, and obviously this is stuff you hear, but even when the conversations that we've had with many people in the past, is that so often is that they feel like I don't have choices. Mm-hmm. And if you can give the resource and support to try and help that, you can literally change the course of that young person's life and decision-making process, which is tremendous. So now, how long has the Pregnancy Center been around for, Bob?
We have been around since 1984. Mm-hmm. And basically what it was, there was a pastor and some other guys that were in the church, mm-hmm. and basically they knew back then that, there's a problem out there and we need to be a solution to it and try to help. And so as a church, they got together, they formed the Cleveland Pregnancy Center, and so it's been around for over 30 years now, and just serving the clients that come in. And so that's
awesome.
Where it started.
That's awesome. So on a day-to-day basis, when you guys are there serving the community, who do you serve? Who's the person that walks in your door saying, I need help?
The primary client is typically between 22, 23, 24, 25, somewhere in there, up to like 30. And you always think that it's always the teen pregnancy thing, mm-hmm. right? And but that's not necessarily the case. It's those that might be in college, mm-hmm. that end up pregnant. It's maybe they're later, they've waited for relationship, and so they're the ones that are coming in and going, I just don't know what to do. Mm-hmm. And so culture tells them that there's an easy solution, but we know that's not really an easy solution because it's so detrimental to the child, of course, and then to their emotional health afterwards.
Absolutely. So Bob, obviously when, people come in, their needs vary. So, getting to the root of what they need to support them obviously has to be a multifaceted animal. So what resources and services do you provide to try and help them when they're in crisis like this?
So the way kind of our flow goes through the center, we have Lilly Women's Center, which is our medical side. So basically what they do, they will do pregnancy tests and they will do ultrasound, because you need to confirm your pregnancy before you do anything, right? I mean, you don't cut off your finger if there's nothing wrong with it. And we know that there's nothing wrong when a woman's pregnant, but they think there is, and so you need to confirm pregnancy. So that's what our medical side does, and then they will also meet with an options educator and basically help them understand that if they're deciding abortion, here's the procedures. And then here's the risks that are going to be associated with that, especially when we start talking about emotional risk, because it's been known that it can be as bad as PTSD. Now you start saying something like a PTSD, and you're going, then you got their attention, going, oh, okay, that's serious.
Yeah.
And so now we can talk about the whole life process. We can talk about adoption, we can talk about life, we can talk about abortion, and help them along that path. Of course, we want them to choose life, but that's not going to be everybody's choice, and that's okay. So in the after fact, we also have our HEART program. So it's healing the effects of abortion-related trauma. So those that have been through abortion, they need healing, and we provide that through a 7-week workshop that ladies that have had abortions can now lead this program because they've been through it, and helping them in the healing process. Those that choose life, they move to our Cleveland Pregnancy Center side, which has always been our resource side. And so what the resource side does, there will be a life coach that comes alongside them, helps them through understanding what are the trimesters, so to say, in their pregnancy and those kind of things. And then we also do life skill classes. And so with that, there's budgeting classes, Bible study classes, there's parenting, infant massage and development, the parenting classes, and things for the fathers also, because when they want to be involved, we definitely want to feed into them also. So those are kind of the resources and the things that we do for everybody that walks through the door.
That's awesome. And what I really thought was amazing when you spoke to the heart of the fact that knowing that not everyone is going to make the choice that obviously you'd like to see, but the fact that without showing judgment, you welcome them in and say, here, we're here to help you to get, to deal with the aftermath and help to heal the effects of those things. Because I think that's sometimes often where, I think a lot of people who've gone down the road of making the choice to have an abortion feel like, now that I've made this decision, there's not a place for me to go to get the help and the healing and the resources they need.
And there is, because, it's sometimes it's 5, 10, 20 years later that they start thinking about it and going, that's where it all stems from, is when I made that decision, is why I'm who I am today. And so we are there for those people that have been through that. And it's amazing to see the healing on the other side of it, to see what happens with them. And that's the part that just thrills me, when I see them take the step and do that. And all they need to do is give us a call. I get them in touch with the lady that's in charge of the HEART program, and get them set up with the next session they're doing.
That's tremendous. That's tremendous, and it's so needed. I mean, because this is real life. This happens every day, and so many moms don't know where to turn. And there are even resources like this available to help them in times of crisis, whether it's having made one decision or just trying to find someone to help them through weeding through this whole, very heavy waters of these, life-altering decisions, and to have a resource center where people can say, hey, listen, we'll hold your hand. That's huge.
Yeah.
I can imagine with the community that you guys deal with, how much they appreciate that work.
Yeah.
So Bob, obviously a service like this, it's not free for you to provide it. So when moms come in there, do they pay for these services?
The services are all free to our clients. They do not pay for anything. And basically that's provided by churches that have associated with us. There are a number of donors that are backing us also. We do very little on grants, mainly because there's going to be stipulations, with those. And because we are faith-based, we want to be able to share the gospel and those kind of things. And so we do very little on the grant side of it. But mostly it's through individual donors that say, man, you know what, I want to feed into this and I want to help, how can I help? And so financially, they're able to do it that way. And the churches have been a huge help in that sense also.
That's awesome. I know. We've also been a part of some of your events too, and I think it's tremendous just seeing the body coming together to go and serve in that way and support the pregnancy center. It's just tremendous. So Bob, you've obviously been doing this for a long time, and I'm sure that you've probably got some favorite stories. So why don't you share with us one or two of your favorite stories from your time, whether it's in your current position as the executive director, or something you experienced when you were working with people.
It's funny. I was thinking of one story, but I'm going to share that one later. There is one, and this was pretty much when I first got started. I was volunteer coordinator, and there was a girl that was coming, and her little daughter had just been born, and so she was coming into the center, and there were times where we needed to kind of take turns so she could go to class, and we were watching the baby and stuff, and for me at that point we took care of them until the child was 3 years old. And so we saw this girl go from, tiny, where she was afraid to come to me, and then later where she'd come in and just come and want you to be the one that hold her, want you to be the one that was reading her the books, and those kind of things. And so it's a relationship that starts over those years. And it starts by them saying, man, I need some help. And they come and they get the help that they need. And then they share it with their friends. We have a lady that's coming now that I call her my poster child, because she really is. She does everything we ask her to do, and with her we've been teaching her and training her, and she's always faithful to the Bible studies and really learning. And then we've also connected her. One of the things we started last year was connecting them back to the churches. We call it our selfless connection, because the church really thinks that, hey, we're coming in to save the world here, and they find out that, man, we're the ones that got fed into because we're helping somebody. And so she got connected with a small group. She at one point was saying that, I'm going to be moving. The small group came around her and helped her move. And then they also threw her a baby shower. I mean, this is just one small group that just kind of took this girl in, and they have been meeting with her, some of them one-on-one, some of them in the small group, and it's been neat to see her. So I was going to say, if you want to hear more about her story, we're going to be sharing her story at the banquet.
Oh, excellent. Yeah. All right, love to hear that. And you said you had another story. What was the other story?
That was the story.
Okay.
She's the poster child one.
Excellent.
And she's the one that I keep introducing people to.
Yeah.
And say, man, this is a success right here.
That's awesome.
Seeing what she's doing.
That's awesome.
Yeah, she's been amazing. She's working, as a single mom, taking care of her child. It's an amazing story.
That's what it's all about.
Yep.
That's what it's all about. So, Bob, when people are looking for finding information about how you guys are working in the community, what is the best way for somebody to go and find out about the Cleveland Pregnancy Center?
Basically, the easiest way is to go to the website, and it's just clevelandpregnancycenter.org, and you can go there. It will give you information about the center itself, the services that we provide, and then also it will lead you to volunteer positions and those kind of things that are available also. And so that's the best way to kind of go about finding out who we are. You can always give us a call, shoot us an email, we'll respond to whatever questions you have also. So it's really simple, to get all the information that you need.
Now, obviously, you guys are donor supported, so if somebody felt called and they wanted to donate, would they be able to go and do a donation right through the website?
Absolutely. Yep. There's
Wonderful.
a little donate button up on the right-hand corner, because it was down the bottom and I had it moved, so it's accessible.
Smart move. Got to be visible.
Yes.
That's tremendous. So now you mentioned that you have the banquet coming up. So can you tell us a little bit more about the banquet and other upcoming events that you have for the facility?
The banquet is going to be on April 30th. It's going to be down at Windows on the River, which is a great place. It's just a beautiful, beautiful place. And so we're excited about that. So it's actually, even the place is getting a lot of excitement going on with that. And we're also going to have a silent auction in that. And so you will hear a couple of testimonies. This one girl will be the one that we show and showcase also. And there's going to be another story that's kind of shared as how the story of the Cleveland Pregnancy Center gets passed from person to person, that now there's one that comes to us that is able to find it because they found out about us. And so that's another story that's going to be told, and then I'm just going to be sharing about what's going on and where we're at and what's coming up and those kind of things too. So that's kind of the banquet. It's, like I say, April 30th, 6 o'clock. You can go on the website and you can register there. And if you want to be a table host, you can invite some people and bring them along with you. A couple other things we have coming up. We have a golf outing in August. August, oh my goodness, I'm trying to remember the date.
We'll post
It's
a
in
link, don't
August.
worry.
It's going to be our first golf outing, and there was a guy that came alongside and said, you know what, I do golf outings, I could do that. And so we started talking, so we're going to put one on. It's going to be out at Tanglewood, which is a really nice course. And we're talking about some other things coming up. We always do a walk. We haven't figured out where we're doing the walk this year, but that'll be probably coming up real soon. And there's been some other talk about possibly doing a dinner cruise, possibly.
That sounds like lots of fun.
We'll see, yes.
Oh, that's tremendous. That's tremendous. And Bob, I know you'd mentioned earlier that you do a lot of your work in association with the churches. So can you spend a minute just talking about the relationship that you have and how you work within the church community?
So basically what our goal is to equip the churches. And so, we're one place in the city that we're only going to see so many people walk through our door. But you know what? You have a church that there are people walking through your door every day. There are 4 out of 10 women in the church that have had abortions. So that tells me that we're not equipped to have some of those conversations, to have them go to somebody that they know, to have that conversation about, man, what do I do? Where does this lead me? And we're not equipped to have those conversations. What we want to do is to equip the churches to be able to have those conversations. So basically a mini Cleveland Pregnancy Center right at church. So because you're going to know youth that are coming through, or maybe they know somebody that's a friend of, and they're going to be in trouble, and not knowing what to do. And so where do they point them? Well, we need to have people in the church that are equipped to do that. So that's really how we're trying to connect with the churches, and we want to be a resource. We're not asking for funding and those kind of things, because we really need to be a resource back to the churches. And that's really where the connection starts, is how can we help them to be who they need to be. There's people that are going to be in the churches that say, man, you know what, I want to be a part of that. And we have some positions at the center too. But I think, right now it's more important that we're equipping the churches to be that first line.
Yeah.
Because they really are.
Yeah. They really need to, have someone who can equip them, so when those conversations occur, they know how to handle those.
Right.
So, the mission, I think, is tremendous, and I would really encourage any of you who feel moved by this conversation, do some research, look up the Cleveland Pregnancy Center, and find out more about their mission, find out more about the work that they're doing. As we discussed before, you guys are all over social media now, and so if people go looking, where can they find you on social media?
We're going to be, it's a website, of course, and then you have Facebook, we have Twitter, and then we just started an Instagram account, and we have a number of followers already. And the Instagram is more for the clients themselves. That's how we're kind of really connecting with them. We were actually just talking about doing a donor Facebook site also. We haven't put that together, but we're going to be talking about that tomorrow. So we'll see where that goes from there. But those are the 3 main, to get connected to us.
Awesome, and we'll put all of those links in the show notes. So once you watch this, and if your heart feels moved, then make sure you go to the Cleveland Pregnancy Center's website, or follow them on social media. I think sometimes it's just great to go and see the work that's being done, and the families and the people that they're helping and how they're connecting. And if you feel motivated after watching this that you want to volunteer, reach out to the Pregnancy Center, reach out to Bob, find out what you can do to help. And if you have a local church that would like to get trained, I'm sure that Bob and his staff would be more than happy to come out and set up time to go and train you and your staff and the members of your church how to go and be the resource necessary, so that young women who are in crisis can have choices.
Absolutely.
Right? Because what was the saying that you said?
We are eliminating the crisis, not the child.
That's tremendous. Bob, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thanks, Dr. Scott.
So it was completely our pleasure. And moms and dads, anybody who's watching this, make sure that you check this information out, and we will make sure that we'll have all the show notes. So everything we talked about here, all the links will be on the Growing Healthy Families podcast page. And until I see you guys next time, God bless you guys. Be elite.
Thank you for listening to the Growing Healthy Families podcast, the world's #1 source for health education. Make sure to go to iTunes or wherever you listen to podcasts and give us a review. Make sure to follow us on social media at the links listed in the show notes, and let us know what area of health you are struggling with, so we can get you and your family on the road to epic health.